Canflow must be closed down, and the smell is just awful. But the smell just be changing sometimes. It smell like eggshells and stuff, like rotten eggs and stuff.
I'm Hanson Clark, State Representative, and Canflow has a long history of breaking environmental laws, both in Ontario and permit requirements here in the city of Detroit. And I first got involved with this issue back in July when the fire marshal tipped me off and said that there was a foul odor in that neighborhood, and the fire marshal had to evacuate that entire block. I contacted the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan did levy a fine on Canflow, and the city of Detroit did suspend its permit because Canflow violated some of the city's nuisance ordinances. But after I talked to everybody here and you told me about the headaches you were experiencing, shortness of breath, sicknesses, and yes, even death, I feel that Canflow is more than just a nuisance in this community. I believe that Canflow is a danger to this neighborhood, to our families, and that Canflow must go. So what I will do is that I will support the community so that on March the 1st, the City Council in the City of Detroit will not renew Canflow's permit to discharge that waste into our sewer line.
I'm the Chief of Staff with State Representative Hanson Clark, and I just want to give a short synopsis and history on Canflow Environmental Services. They're an Ontario-based company that does have a permit to discharge wastewater into the sewage system in Detroit. Canflow has been fined from 1989 through 1997 at least 10 times for being in violation of one or another order that pertained to their permit. Canflow sold waste to General Motors. General Motors burned that waste, which included toxic waste. General Motors, along with Canflow, was investigated by our U.S. Department of Environmental Services. General Motors was ordered to clean up their tanks and to cease burning that fuel which they got from Canflow. As of July 2001, Canflow was issued a cease and desist order by the Detroit water and sewage system. Canflow has been receiving a permit every March from Detroit Water and Sewage. This is the first year that they have not, at this point, been reissued a permit due to the complaints of the community and the information gathered by the community and submitted to Detroit Water and Sewage, to our City Council, and to State Representative Hanson Clark's office. We are in hopes that the city will not reissue this permit in the coming week.
Impromptu, but I've joined the community, the Greendale community, in these efforts, and my name is Richard Robinson. And, I started hearing from the community, different residents talking about illnesses, and they started matching, and they all associated them with this facility. So I started doing research with the group and found out that the zoning for this particular facility is Zone M4, which is for high-dense manufacturing. And the zoning stated by the city says that such a facility is objectionable in the eyes of city zoning laws. It should rarely, if ever, be placed adjacent to a residential neighborhood. Whether it was grandfathered in, the houses were built before the facility, or the facility was built after the housing, it still exists improperly. and the permits that were issued were subsequent, to the building being there anyway. So it's of deep concern, because here's a facility that shouldn't be there. The discharge chemicals that they're discharging into the sewers are, for example, trichlorophenols, bichlorophenols, pentachlorophenols. All these are cancerogenic chemicals. And the concern is the fact that they have this and permitted this to go on and did not make sure that the sewer lines were working at an optimal level is just unbelievable. The sewer lines from the discharge manhole is like 12 inches into Jarnar, which is maybe like a quarter of a mile, is 18 inches. This used to be an oil reclamation facility, and they have allowed oils and other types of materials to build up without servicing on a regular basis these sewer lines. An engineering firm called in Canton, Compliance Engineering, did an investigation and stated that the reason for the backing up into the people's houses were the traps. The city plumbing department, the inspectors, indicated that it was a direct result of the sewer and not the traps. The traps were primarily put there to keep sewer gases out. So here we have a delivery system. We have a toxic discharge facility. They claim it to be non-toxic wastewater, but yet the ingredients that are discharged are toxic: arsenic, chromium, lead, but they have levels that, parameters that they are not to exceed. But if you have sewer lines that are impeded with oil and all other types of things, the pitch of the sewer line, these are not generated by a pump, the pitch is impeded. So you have concentrations of these chemicals building up. And when they build up and you have heavy rains, they're coming back into these waste streams are coming back into people's houses. The problem with that is now they're concentrated levels, okay? And we're just average people. We're just average citizens. We entrust our city governments to look out for us in this regard. And we truly feel that they failed us. People have, in one case, a lady had to leave her home. They threatened to take her children, put them in foster care, if she remained in this environment. I think her civil liberties have been infringed upon. So, these are children, these are elderly, these are at one time otherwise healthy people that are now faced with a literal monster, and I don't think that the city is void of responsibility in correcting the situation. And it's just not a facility that we want.
I'm Shani Darmiaga, and I'm a U of M public health student. The families of Greendale-Grigsdale community and the surrounding areas have suffered for a long time from the problem that's been created by this company and also inadequate planning. The greatest concern is the severe health problems that the residents have been enduring for the past 3 or 4 years, including children. Many of the exceedances, such as mercury, silver, and other metals, have been cited in the permit, but also we are also concerned with the high levels of phenols that have been found within the exceedances. And these are consistently have been in violation for the past 3 or 4 years. When I did a little research on phenols, it was found that they're a mutagen, and that some are also possible carcinogens, as was referred to before. They also result in many respiratory irritants. They cause respiratory problems, cause diseases such as emphysema and pulmonary edema over time, and can severely irritate the skin and the eyes. and also cause severe headaches. The chemical is not supposed to be mixed with lead or zinc, but yet when I find and look in the waste stream, many of these chemicals are found along with the phenols being discharged into the sewer system. So we are not sure what kind of reaction that could have along with the phenols just by themselves. We also conducted a health survey in the community to find out just exactly what were some of the trends in the health problems. And we were finding that many of the health problems we found with phenols were some of the same ones we found in the community. Breathing problems, respiratory illnesses, skin irritation, stomach aches, sleeplessness, cramping, headaches, and even some cancers and birth defects. Surveys are still being conducted, and we also have invited a doctor to come and look into the situation. The community is requesting that the City of Detroit Health Department take a look into this matter a little more closely and to do a study to find out what exactly is the connection between some of these health issues and Canflow. And in addition to that, with what Richard had also been talking about with the inadequate sewer system, if we're talking about backups and clogging of the sewer system that keeps backing up into people's homes, we're talking about 3 or 4 years of buildup of contaminants in the sewer system that once released can cause a deadly combination into the people's homes, causing many of these health effects. Like I said, many of these things are still under investigation. But one of the other issues is also the border problem. As we all know, a lot of times that when trucks come over, because of the problems getting over, they are allowed to take off their signs. And so we're not exactly sure what is being brought over to this company, to this community. So, but that's the concern for the residents regarding health. Thank you.
My name is Rhonda Anderson, and I'm the Environmental Justice Organizer for the Sierra Club. And just wanted to say that I've been working with Rashani and this community, with the Greendale, Dricksdale, Margaret community on this situation at Canflow. We've wanted from the very beginning just to shut it down, stop the operation of this facility, because from the very first day when we arrived on the site, we knew just how bad the situation was because we became immediately ill ourselves. We knew that there was a problem when Mrs. Gooch over here invited us into her home to smell the odor that was coming out of her home. I did not even have to make it to the door because I could smell it all the way to the sidewalk. We knew that there was a problem. So we've been working consistently with this community, and I wanted to just say you've done a tremendous job. Each time they have come out for conferences, demonstrations, they've done a wonderful job. And this success now, it's been my understanding, I believe, I've only heard, that the City of Detroit would not renew the permit for Canflow. This is just something that I've heard. We haven't seen any official papers on it yet. If this is the case, okay, if this is the case, then we applaud the City of Detroit because they're simply doing what they should have done a long time ago. It should have been shut down a long time ago. Someone should have paid attention to these people a long time ago. And I beg to ask, why haven't they been paid attention to? We've heard from the EPA that they've been in investigation of Canflow for over 7 years. How? With all the things that we've come up with in just these few months, the evidence that we have, which is like this, that there's so many violations with this company, that the government of Canada shut them down. Why hasn't something been done before now? We would suggest to the City of Detroit to keep this place shut down, to never again allow it to operate. We would suggest to DEQ that they come up with another policy in regards to the permitting system. That would include the City of Detroit also. That there should be allowed public comment when permits such as this is to be renewed or up for renewal. So Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunity working with this whole group here.
Brothers and sisters, I want to commend the community folks here for the Herculean work that you've been doing and the environmentalists involved. You know, if we were in Bloomfield Hills or Birmingham, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We all know that. So it's only because we're poor folks, people of color, that this is even being discussed. Right after World War II, the United States entered into an agreement called the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And among the agreements that they made with the world community was that people everywhere have a right to decent air, water, food, and good health. That's a human right for everybody everywhere. And the United States is a signatory on that. So what's happening here, because we are not a part of the public, we don't have the right to participate in the public decisions that are being made at any time for whatever reason. This government, whether it's the federal government, the city, or the state government, they're in violation of our fundamental human rights. We need to know that, and we have to fight for that at every step. We do not give that up. We don't retreat on those things. So if the law in the city does not allow us presently to participate in these proceedings when they get ready to give somebody a permit that's going to cause damage to our health, we have to fight for it.
Yes.
Now, the strength of Canflow and all the folks who are polluting is secrecy. They do it behind closed doors, they lie about it, and they cheat. Our strength as community folks and as activists is to raise hell and to tell the truth every day, every step of the way. Frederick Douglass, this is Black History Month. Frederick Douglass, near the end of his life, lived almost to be 100 years old. When the young folks asked him, well, what should we be doing now? You've been through all these struggles against slavery, the struggle for abolition, the struggle for justice in the 1800s. What should we do now? He said, agitate, agitate, agitate. So that's what I want to leave you with. Agitate over this environmental problem, over your public health, or you get nothing. If you agitate and organize, we get what we're supposed to have. Thank you.
Introduce myself. My name is Chris Holt. I'm actually from the other side of the border. I'm with the Canadian Green Party, and your voices have been heard all the way over there.
Did you hear that?
It really has. It's Mrs. Gooch is an international celebrity. Go ahead, Miss Gooch. Yeah. And I'm not familiar with the area. But I do sympathize greatly with the beautiful children you have and what you have to deal with just reading through the article. And I want to tell you that I'm going to try to raise the media's attention in Canada. And I believe this is, we all live on the same water, we all breathe the same air, we're all dealing with the same overall environmental health effects. Maybe not to the extent in the pocket that you have, but there's pockets everywhere, and that's where my priority lies. It's terrible that we have to live with this, and it's terrible that there's people out there who are profiting from this, and people are profiting heavily from your health. And what's not allowed in Canada, it can be transported over to the States, and vice versa. We deal with the same thing over on our side of the border, and I want to tell you that you do have allies in Canada. And I will try to help you from that side of the border. Canflow, it really hasn't made the media. It hasn't made the media spotlight. Just that article in Metro Times, it's widely spread in Windsor, and we're trying to get the ball rolling over there because Canflow is a Canadian company, and Canflow should not be permitted to dump their waste in another country, in another community. And you should take care of your own, and they should take care of their own waste. And what you people are doing here today should be commended, because this is the only way things get answered. This is the only way people start to listen, is when you get together as a community. And I commend you for all the work you're doing.
Charles Simmons is much too modest. Agitate, 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 yes, but he put his name on the line and he ran for Detroit City Council last year, and he almost made it. And we almost had an ally on the council that when matters come before the council, we'd actually get some action. I've been an activist all my life with a lot of organizations, and I kind of drifted away from agitating and organizing, because every time I agitated and organized, we took it to the legislature, and the legislature ignored us. Well, this year I've got a new idea. I say we replace the legislature with people who will respond. And that means you. That means people in the community ought to stand up and put your name on the line and run for state legislature. Every seat in Lansing is up for re-election this November. And you can either wait around for the people in Lansing to respond to you, or you can go to Lansing. And I would strongly encourage you to do that. Yes, I am running for governor. And I found out that it's a lot easier than it looks like. The filing process, if you're a minor party candidate, is pretty easy. The reporting requirements are not real stringent. It's not that difficult a job. And the other thing I found out that running for governor is that just an average person who walks in off the streets of Ferndale is every bit as qualified as everybody who's running already. That there are not a lot of new ideas or progressive enthusiasm among the major party candidates. And we could really make a difference just by replacing folks who don't respond with people who do respond. So if Sierra Club has some folks in the neighborhood who'd like to make a difference, I'd sure like to hear about it. I'm active with the Green Party of Michigan, and I can help you with the process of connecting activists with our party structure. We've got open seats. We'd love to have you come join us.
Of all the weapons used in the world in the last 40 years, none had more power than this one.
Hi, I'm Marilyn McDermott.
And I'm Matt Abel.
We're from In the Green. Whenever you have a question to ask, a complaint to make, or an idea to express, it is your democratic privilege to write a letter to a public official. Tell them how it looks to you and why. Such a letter, if courteous, thoughtful, and to the point, can exert influence.
If your letter writing fails to make a difference, the next step is to become involved. Call and ask for a personal meeting. If that personal meeting doesn't work out, write the letter to your local newspaper. Don't be afraid of making the commitment over the long haul. You can do this by supporting an opposing candidate in an election or by running for that office yourself.
That long-term commitment also means registering to vote and voting. I'm Marilyn McDermott.
And I'm Matt Abel.
Thank you.
Nobody tell me that stuff. I mean, stuff is happening. People.
Successfully delivered a healthy
Okay, I just moved over here in November. And
Stand back a little.
Oh, okay. I just moved over here in November, and already I done paid $300 to get my backyard snaked out. I can't cook. I have to take my kids places. We have to go out to eat. Right now, my backyard is so messed up from this plant. I have to pay $1,800 to get my backyard fixed. And I do not have no $1,800. I done called the housing inspector, I done called the water company, I done called the city of downtown at the city county building. I'm not getting no help. I called China too. I'm not getting no help at all. Oh, and I got 2 kids. I can't even let my dog go play. It stinks so bad over here. And I just moved over here. I don't have no money to move no more. No money. My name is Joanne Thomas. I stay right down the street. And this is so bad. I never knew until I talked to her. So I always wanted to know where does the smell come from. And it's coming from here. $1,800. I don't have no money.
corner of
A lot of
Greendale?
damages. My wife Sheena got damaged because my backyard got oil and mess all through the backyard. You can see it. And it don't make no sense.
When they changed over to from Carter Waste Oil, Carter went out of business, or supposedly, government pushed him out, we quit. When that happened, they shut down for about a month and they turned over to Canflow, which some of the guys that's working for Canflow now are the same guys that worked over on the west side. And I used to pick up waste oil from here and take over there and over there. We picked up from General Motors mostly, about 3 other plants out Mountain Road. I used to take it over to Canada and bring stuff from Canada over here until I stopped that because the Canadian, their trucks were so old, the Canadians were going to put me in jail for bringing junky trucks. So that's when all of this led up to my quitting. Since then, my wife has gotten chronic arthritis and I've gotten arthritis. We attributed to working down there for Canflow. Also, the field across the street, the smaller trucks, they had small blue trucks. They would dump in that field across the street.
Just directly into the soil?
Oh, right, yeah, right there. That's where all the steel and everything else you picked up, they'd just dump it right there. And if you go back by
what happens to it then? They just leave it there?
Yeah, until it's soaked into the ground. If you go back on the west side of the fence, the southwest corner, you'll see it's all saturated there, or where it was then. That's where we would dump the small blue trucks, the double tandem, the double trailers. If I was filled up, then I would dump it down the sewer.
So you're saying the ground water all around here is contaminated? It'd be impossible not to have been.
You know, I'm not an expert. I just know that...
Well, this was dumped right out on the ground, wasn't it?
This was dumped right out on the ground.
Well,
he had some steel plates that he was taking from a paint company off of I-75 near Holbrook. And he'd pile the steel plates in there, and behind the steel plates in the southwest corner, he would have the hose come out and dump the blue trucks. Sometimes most of the times I drove the semis. But once in a while I did drive the blue trucks. And the rest of the stuff, like I say, when the tanks were full, we'd dump down the sewer.
But that's the scary part. I go down by this railroad tracks. Good to go. Then when I get out the car to go around the side to catch them.
This bitch gonna be close.
Exactly. He looking right at me. They're taking something out of there, putting on the back of the truck. I wish the guy knew what it was.
You never like that. Something was dead in it.
He looking right at me. He coming over here, ain't he?
He didn't come on. The address is 615 East Greendale. Here. But that don't make no sense. Every time you walk up down the street, you smell that gas shit, and that shit gives you headaches. The smell here is very unbearable, and I'm about to go. Yep, you sure can. And I don't know why this man pumping this stuff and got this odor and making people sick.
It's unhealthy to breathe, I tell you that, and you can't cook.
Cause you know what? I was drying some clothes one day, and it was that night that shit came up so strong I was scared it was gonna blow. I turned my damn dryer off, cause I thought the scent was just that bad.
Yeah.
What time you gonna be back, CC?
I'll be back at noon.
And see how he got the door down? Who, the man?
Oh, they went out the other gate. They went out the other gate.
Got stuff up.
Oh, it's pumping. It's pumping.
See what time it is? And today's date is September the 27th. I just got this video camera. I don't know how to work it too well, but this is the Canflow truck going to the Canflow factory. It's 6:15 Canflow. Canflow truck.
Sometimes I drove, most of the times I drove the semis. But once in a while I did drive the blue trucks. And the rest of the stuff, like I say, when the tanks were full, we dumped down the circuit. Right after I quit, I got a little arthritis, but my wife got it real bad. She worked there also.
Did the EPA or anybody come in here and try to at least dredge out the sewage system or clean it?
They have been about maybe 3-4 weeks ago. They were all up and down the alley here trying to clean out the sewer system. Nobody's done anything with the lot across the street. That I know.
What about some of the backups? We know this home here has a backed up sewer that the stuff has come up into the house, and then they have a blockage now, and they have, when they cleared out the blockage, they had the smell in the...
Well, we've had the smell. We didn't have our sewer
Does it come up through
blocked
the drains in some of the houses and sinks? Do you...
Being a contractor for construction, I can see the backing up through on this side. It wouldn't hit my side because I'm on a different drain.
Different drain, but it's this side of that
But the smell used to be. It was bad when I worked for Carter Waste Oil, but when Canflow took it, it was worse yet.
I drove past that factory, it's got a hell of a reservoir back there.
There you come.
Yep. You want to smell in her house? You better show better.
There's a foul odor.
Foul odor, yeah. And why the heater won't come on or furnace?
Our water tank is messed up.
I can't flush my toilet. So the baby.
Oh, girl's on your foot bad, ain't it? Okay. I did record.
Okay. Now, as you just seen what's on my foot, I just left a lady's home into her basement, and that's the result that I got out of her basement.
What time look down the hole?
Oh, I look down there myself. There's a ladder going down there.
Every doggone day.
We're trying to clean up this mess is what we're trying to do. I'm going to have a city representative out here tomorrow and explain to you guys what, a little bit more of what I'm doing. And as far as...
we're not mad with you.
No, as
we
far
know.
as the smell and that,
We know you're trying to help us,
right.
But see, our main concern is to keep that factory closed.
I agree 110%, man.
Okay.
We're just, I'm not going to sit here and say that since we are jetting here, the smell is going to be probably a little bit more than it's been lately because we're...
Open up old sores.
Like you got a toilet bowl and you got crap down there. When you start stirring it up, it smells a little bit more,
right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So, we're agitating, but we're pulling all the debris out over there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're cleaning out, but you're probably going to get a little bit more smell more than you've probably had in the past few days because we're agitating, but we are pulling the stuff out.
The smell here is unbearable. It smells really, really bad. Like some kind of gas. I'm trying to hold my breath. Put the flecks up on the ground. Came out the sewer. That's been there always. Ready to put a new plastic pipe on top of this. Catch it, Benny. See if you can catch some of the things. See the oil stuff on top of there? It's going right down in the sewer. Let me back this camera up. See, it's floating on top of the water.
We'll use some paper or something.
You take me, but then I ain't scared to get it.
Yeah, okay. You go back, your hair be glowing. you be all on your husband.
You want proof? Here it is.
Shut up, boy.
Look at Neon. Yeah, y'all want proof?
They legally changed my name.
Come right here, baby. Get it right here from this thing in here. Look, it ate the grass out just like it ate ours out, Benny. Right in that little groove. See how it ate the grass out? Ate ours out the same way.
He be going to the EPA. Y'all want proof?
Get right
Turn the lights off.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Canflow. We picking up little substances overflowing the tank, rolling on the ground. What's today's date, y'all? Just in case I didn't pick it up. December 17th, 2001.
You got time for this?
Yeah, here, babe. I'm gonna check see what's coming through this fence with. I wasn't thinking. It's coming through a hose. Yeah.
Hey, wash your hands.
It's through. It's a crack in the wall. It's coming from the thing. It's coming through a crack in the wall. See it? See it?
What, in the
Yeah.
Can you show the crack?
Yep, I got it. And it's like bubbly stuff coming out of there.
So it's leaking.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones with this problem.
I know.
I just seen it on the news day before yesterday. Clinton Township.
Yeah, that's where we're doing that.
Good. I'm so tired of this place here. I don't know what to do.
But you know what? Okay, Mr. Steve Kaplicki, the water board, told us that the water lines, our drinking water runs to the front and our sewer lines run to the back. This stuff is running to the front of our houses. Good old water board.
Up together.
Right.
Hazardous waste storage area, unauthorized persons keep out.
And it's all money.
Yeah, I didn't work for Canflow, but the operation must be the same because it's the same.
Making more money than ever doing
Oh yeah,
this.
they're making good money. The trucks that you used to see pull in there were better than a Greyhound station. And we had, when I was working there, they had 4 semis that I used to drive for. And like, as I say, I stopped driving their semis because going over, I don't know anything about Canada, Canadian Border Patrol tried to arrest me twice for the junky trucks because they were spilling over.
So Canada's doing a pretty good job of keeping the waste out of their country, but we're not.
They are, because they made me take the trucks and turn right. I only went so far when they found out what kind of trucks, and then they would never let our trucks back in the.
You never really thought about Michigan as a third world country before, did you?
There's actually 2 of them.
On each side, one each side?
One there, one there.
This hose here is going out of the reservoir into the sewer right there. That's against the law that we know of because they call themselves dumping. They're getting rid of what they have in these silos. And it was supposed to not have any kind of functioning back there, any kind of work at all. Kids over here. I got kids over here. I just trying to make sure. I got kids. I understand you only doing your job, but they still realize how much people they hurt. They don't know what they don't. It's all about making a dollar. It's not about helping the people here in the area. It's about making a dollar.
But if businesses don't operate, I don't know how anybody can live.
But you know what I'm saying, Mr. Jim, it's not so much doing. I understand you got to make some money to function. I understand that, but you have to. But at what cost? But you know what I'm saying. What about our children? This smell. I've been here for 26 years, and this smell is killing us.
Well, I wasn't here 26 years ago, so I really don't know what it was like.
Well, it was an oil refinery, and it tipped over right here in the street. I've been here through a whole lot of things with this plant, and this has been passed down through family, through family, through family. They just keep changing the name. That's it.
Well, it's not the same people. I know that. The Carters, I think they're all dead.
Well, something. I was told it was all the same family, being passed down through the families.
It was a fellow named Carter that owned it up until probably 5 or 6 years ago.
5 or 6 years ago, and he's dead now?
Well,
all the Carters are dead?
Well, I don't know about the boys. The boys were pretty heavy coke people then. The old man, he was, I've got some paperwork that still came in from the government for him, but George knows about it, but he'd probably be 80 years old by now if he's still alive. I haven't, since I've been here, I haven't heard from any of those people or any sign that they're still around.
Where's your family live at, Mr. Jim? Where do you live? You live out of Detroit?
I live on 27 Mile Road.
Okay, so Clinton Township, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's on record. They probably have us on record over there from those plates over off I-75. And then the EPA, so the year I quit, the EPA came down there. Nothing was done about it.
That was the United States or the Michigan EPA?
I believe it was the Michigan. Michigan, and since then nothing's been done about it at all. Then they changed names and saying Carter went to Canflow, but the operation's the same.
And that was all during the years Engler was governor of Michigan.
That's correct. And before. Yeah. Before Engler and during Engler.
So Blanchard was in office also, huh?
That's correct. In fact, there was letters sent to Blanchard about them, and we never.
You never even heard back?
Oh, no. He was too busy.
Well, he became their ambassador, so something must be going on.
Well, as I told him, I want to see this neighborhood cleaned up.
Did you know that Jim Blanchard became our ambassador to Canada after he left the State House?
No, but that sounds awful funny, because he knew about this, and he's the ambassador to Canada. What kind of connection do we have there?
I'm sure he did a very good job in his own way.
The community needs. The community is asking for the city to make sure Canflow is permanently shut down. They want restitution for the families from the city and Canflow. Yes. They also would like the area cleaned up and rezoned so that the industry will not be able to locate in that parcel of land. And they are also requesting a hearing with City Council to have a public hearing process instilled as a part of the City of Detroit policy during permit application or reapplication process before approval, and that the community's commitment be taken into serious consideration in the permit review process.
My name is Nedra Denny. I'm a resident in the Greendale area. To me, Canflow is like a form of anthrax and terrorism to our community. We have unexplained deaths, high rates in health hazards, and my health hasn't increased, and we just want to cancel what's going on there. They have been exposed, and we want to keep them closed for their effort and what they're doing. We want to keep them shut down because as a resident, we're fed up with what's going on, and we're canceling. We want to cancel and shut down. So what it means to me is that by them being exposed, they're exposed for their efforts, and we just don't want to have it in our community anymore.
it's been a pleasure since Canflow plant been shut down. I tell you, it's a wonderful thing that can get up and breathe some fresh air, and you can go to bed or you can get up in the morning and you don't have the scent all over your house. That's wonderful. But it's bad when you can't stay in your house, you can't go outside. So where you gonna go? So I would like to see the plant closed down, because when you close the plant down, we don't get the scent. When they open it back up, we get the scent all over again. And you can't live in the neighborhood. The kids can't play. It's just bad to live in. So hopefully we can do something about it. Thank you.
All right. My name is Nellie Gross, and we are here concerning Canflow. We need to keep Canflow closed because it's killing our seniors and our children, and we need to try to keep it closed for good. Thank you.